Look at that.
Gary Comerford first. Hello, my gorgeous treacle tarts. Are you well? Welcome to the News and Views with the award-winning Evie Café. 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the Evie Café crew, brought to you this week in partnership with Zaptec, the chargers where innovation meets design. Now then, we've got opinions on a stick. We have the wonderful Sarah, resplendent in red, looking good there.
Hello there.
Pablo, what are you? What are you in? Are you in a smock or something?
No, I'm in my hoodie.
A hoodie.
Off to mug some people.
He the G today. We do have Sam, but Sam's driving, and so will be joining us a little later. And Johnny, well, Johnny's just had misfortune, unfortunately, so he won't be here. But anyway, we've got a lot.
Laughing, right?
Grab a cuppa. We got to get on with it. We've got so much to talk about because coming up, the AA is the first firm to deploy electric recovery vehicles in the UK. Lunaz, remember them? They did the recycled bin lorries and so on. They've restarted production. Good news. Zenobē secures 410 million of funding for fleet electrification. Battery breakthrough. There's a cathode breakthrough which could usher in greener, cheaper electric vehicles, and solar panels are being put on toot buses. Not something I'd ever heard of. But anyway, we got a game to play today because Sam's not here. We're going to play a little game. What would Sam say? So you can join in the comments. Sam has sent us his always pithy comments so that you can tell us what you think Sam would say at the end of each story. And the funniest will doubtless be read out and could even win an Evie Café mug. So we'll get to the end of each story. We'll say, what would Sam say? And you can have a guess and see what he would say. And I've got his answers. But first, two things coming up. We did the driver briefings for the 2024 EV Rally yesterday, Sarah, and it was fair to say that the excitement in the room, you could have cut it with a knife.
You're right, and I very much enjoyed the new uniform, which is a nod to their new sustainability, not giving us disposable uniforms, but keeping the same uniform throughout.
Absolutely, and it's white. Who
Very
thought
white.
that sitting in a car drinking coffee for a week in a white top is a good idea? Seriously. And
It'll
Pablo,
be white for a day.
You were there keeping up the end for Vans. A good day?
It was a great day to see everybody and kind of get a sense of the challenge that was ahead. 1,450 miles, which in my world would be at least 1,600 because I go the wrong way almost every day. So no doubt we'll be breaking some records. But, you know, can Vans do 300 miles a day across 5 days? This is going to be a challenge. No question it's going to be a challenge. One that I know that we'll meet because we do. We'll know if it's practical, if it's possible for the occasional day. So it was a great day. It was a very, very lovely day.
And just for those who do follow the EV Rally, we've got 355 miles to do on the third day, the beast. And for some, it will be harder than others. Oh, hello, Sam. Anything you want to tell us about the EV Rally? What are you up to?
Oh, I can't say yet, but it's quite exciting.
Oh, it is. It is.
A vehicle that's never been done before.
Yeah, so what's Sam's
Sam
vehicle
on a
of choice,
scooter?
do you think? Skateboard. I'd pay good money to see him on a skateboard.
Oh, yeah.
Cargo cycle,
Now-
just saying.
Yeah. Oh, that's for the win.
And he's only allowed to pavement curb charge on his way down.
Yeah, it's a month away and I've already started.
Now then, on Monday, Sam and I will be at Webfleet for a fleet decarbonisation live question time style event that you can join online. Sarah, if you'd be kind enough, would you put the link in the chat for everybody? You can still register. There's going to be 50 fleets in the room, and there's going to be around 200 online who've already registered. So you can join us too. Pose your questions to a panel, including Sam, SJ Mitchell from OVO. We've got Gary from Bridgestone Tyres, and we have Richard Parker from the aforementioned Webfleet. It's going to be a really good day. I think it kicks off around 12:30ish, 1 o'clock, through till 3. So join us for that. Now then, shall we go and have a look at our first story? Joe, our producer, could you stick up the first pictures, if you would, for the AA story? The AA has become the first roadside assistance firm to use fully electric vehicles, launching a new fleet of electric vans and trucks to prepare for its transition to net zero emissions and to investigate the use of EVs in real life settings. Using a test and scale approach, the firm will deploy 3 concept battery electric assistance and recovery vehicles across the country in what it calls a pilot shift to low emission vehicles. Sarah, we were lucky enough to see them yesterday, and they were darned impressive. What did you think?
Exactly that, impressive. Last time I was at the AA, they always display. Up in Oldbury, you get to go and see how things actually work behind the scenes, which is great. And speak to technicians and what to expect on the roadside should they ever come for you. And they've always been advanced. Yesterday they had these out, but also the hydrogen car. I don't know if you remember that. They launched that 2 years ago now. So the AA always are trying to try out future technology to support the future driver, and you've got to take your hats off to them.
Now, don't forget, we are playing What Would Sam Say, even though he's here.
Yeah.
So what would Sam say about this AA story about electric trucks and vans? Paul, what are the details of the vehicles? Because one of the, or two indeed, of the vehicles are from Iveco.
Yeah, I only saw the one there. I think they've got the truck, haven't they? They've got a recovery truck as well as there was 2 recovery trucks of different sizes. So the one I saw was really brilliant, but let's cover the brilliance first, and then share the question that it raised. So the brilliant thing is that they can tow nearly 3 tons with that vehicle. So that's fantastic. So 95% of everything that they're ever going to have to tow, they're going to be able to tow. They've got a really beautifully developed passenger area. So 4 passengers can sit very comfortably in the back with a lovely table, lovely seats, seat belts, all the 9 yards. Really, really quality. The question it raised was, suddenly, can you tow with a 4.25 ton vehicle? And the answer actually on the B1 license is no, but if you've got a C1 license, it's yes. There is the grey areas that the government promised to clear up back end of last year still have not been cleared up, and we need clarity around the 4.25 ton dispensation around operating cleaner vehicles. So it's a really important question raised. But the test and scale approach of the AA is absolutely brilliant. And, with the trucks, with the vans, with the smaller vehicles, right the way through. What a really brilliant demonstration of how it should be done. Well done.
And Sam is back. And Sam, we're getting lots and lots of love for you today. Dean Hedger says, we can hear you chewing, Sam. Not a good look, mate. And I know you are very fussy about people chewing. And Neil Durno, bless him. That is not a good sound.
That's extra.
I had no idea. I apologise to all of our viewers.
Ah, dear. He who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Now then, let's give a shout out to a few people. And kicking the doors in, not just kicking the doors in, the house in, and all of the garden as well, was Neil Durno, 11 minutes before we started. And frankly, that was before the producer logged in, before I was here or anybody else was here. Neil, that's a pretty impressive effort, mate. Thank you so, so much. Also, Gary Comerford, you were joining us from YouTube. You were second. No, Dev Chakravarti maybe was second.
No, it was Gary.
Gary second, Dev third, and Teresa Swift from Formula Space is going to be absolutely gutted because she thought she was first. Teresa, you were snoozing. I mean, they'd been in 8 or 9 minutes by the time you got here, Flower. So brilliant effort from everybody. Let's whiz through the names. Teresa, we've mentioned Gary, we've mentioned Matthew Leng, Ashley Bannister, who's going to be joining us on the EV rally at the BMW and Mini headquarters, and he's going to work that day so he can come and give us all a hug, a love, and a squeeze. The wonderful Ron Godfrey, Dan Martin, Bob Murphy. Hello, my friend. David Cornish, Mark Elliott, Toby Hiles. Toby, lovely to see you. Neil Durno, still, I can't get over that. Rachel Lewis, hello. How's Compleo? We saw your wonderful colleague Claire yesterday. She was fabulous. Esther Jones, love you, hug you, and squeeze you. Martin Sweeney, hello. Wayne Dunn. Gemma Robinson, hello, Gemma. Long time no see. Michael Buck.
Barbados, Gemma, is it?
No, that is a different Gemma.
Oh.
But close. Who else we
No
got?
cigar.
We've got, obviously, Dean Hedger. Bubblicious. Do you remember Bubblicious, Sam? That bubble gum. No, probably too old. Anyway, thank you all for joining us.
Bubble gum or me?
We do appreciate you all. Sam's response to the story from the AA was just excellent.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for your support.
Let's move on.
Pretty
Lunaz has restarted operations at its Silverstone-based HQ with order books reopening for delivery in the fourth quarter of 2025 and current projects recommencing. You may remember that back in March, they said, no, we're out, can't do this. And they retrofit vehicles with battery drivetrains and and refuse vehicles were the ones that they were really focusing on. They have had an investor, somebody you might have heard of called David Beckham, who has come to their rescue and invested a huge amount of money, basically because he wanted them to make one of his cars fully electric. And it's absolutely superb. He's helped to restructure their finances. They're off and running again. They are going to be trialing upcycled electrified 26-ton commercial trucks, and refuse collection is going to be their focus as well. Absolutely brilliant story. Great to see a name coming back. It seems, Paul, that there is a value in businesses that come to the market, they go through a tough time, they get reinvestment, and off they go again.
It is great, and I mean, we're always cautious, right? Because it's a very, very challenging market. But when you've got a name like David Beckham behind you, and a considerable amount of money, who has stepped into the fray, you kind of hope that is the kind of buffer that you need. It's not mercenary money, it's money that is positively given. Obviously from the electrifying the cars side of things, I'm guessing the whole operation is in action now, but it would be great to see some of the upcycling of refuse trucks. I mean, I saw one just days before they went into administration, and it was a very impressive job that had been done on this vehicle. So I'm hoping that kind of mentality of reusing, getting those vehicles into operation can now continue for a while unabated. But there are many companies operating in that space. So it's going to be a challenging, competitive environment, regardless of the fact that they've got some money to go at it again.
Absolutely right. And our very own David Beckham lookalike, because he did have long hair at one point, is, of course, Sam Clark. Sam, retrofitted electric vehicles, you have had your say on this but in the comments, people, what do you think? Do you think that retrofitting vehicles is a good idea? Let us know. Sam, your thoughts?
I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I mean, it's great to be able to repurpose vehicles and put them back into circulation again. My only caveat is, and I said in the comments before, John, is that it needs to be commercially viable. And it's great that someone as a high net worth individual like David Beckham, who I just hope it's not a plaything, right? It needs to be a commercially viable opportunity for fleet operators to look at it and go, okay, my TCO calculations based on this extended range means that it's more viable and more cost effective and better for the environment to be able to put these vehicles on the road. If the answer to that question is actually it's incredibly expensive and I'm never going to get a return on my investment, then we're busy fools. So I think the critical thing for me is, does it make commercial viability, as I always bang on about? It needs to make sure that it makes money. Otherwise, it's just a plaything for a rich man to be able to put some money into something. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that it's a workable business which operates operates well. So, fingers crossed it all works out well for them. It's nice to see, the embers of that enterprise coming back. So good luck to
Of
them.
course. And I think one thing I would say, Sarah, is that David Beckham has a reputation. And if he invests in something which then subsequently fails, that's going to damage that reputation. This I think, is quite an inspired investment. Would you agree? Sarah?
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to catch the Beckhams. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know if you can hear me. I'll turn my camera off.
Sorry.
How about that? Is that there? Am I there? Okay,
No,
slight delay. Apologies.
much worse.
Just to add that. Is it much worse? Oh,
No,
don't
keep-
tease me. It's
keep- no,
horrible
keep
here.
going,
It's half
keep
10 and
going.
all the devices are on and the Wi-Fi is terrible. Indeed, I shall. I'll talk over you and hope for the best. So with David Beckham's business prowess, if you do get a chance to watch his documentary, you will see that throughout his career, he has always been an astute businessman. Like Sam, he gets teased for his hair, but also commercial viability is absolutely what he believes in. I suspect there's a very nice sort of behind the scenes relationship going on here. Business is done with people. I think this is what's happened.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. People buy from people. Now, Toby Hiles has come up with a great thing. I will come to you, Paul. Toby Hiles, it will only be successful if they retrofit an AC Cobra and call it a DC Cobra. Yeah, can't argue with that. Like that. I think Sam said that once on that day when
Literally,
he was funny.
It's been my bucket list for the best part of 10 years, a DC Cobra. So you're a bit late to the party on that one, I'm afraid.
Go on, Paul.
Well, what we're very aware of is that technology, when it first comes to the market, is often much more expensive, and it's the scaling of that opportunity that then brings the TCO. So we've got to allow for a higher cost of ownership in the first place. Is where I'm coming from. When you look at the trucks at £400,000+, which is 2 or maybe 3 times the cost of the diesel variant, it is going to be more expensive in the short term in some cases. Now, some cases you can make it work actually, but there are definitely some cases where you can't make it work, and you do need people with deeper pockets than normal. The big companies with agendas that are beyond just total cost of ownership, because let's face it, British Gas is one that pioneered at an expense. It was more expensive initially. So I do think we should allow for a lower commercial viability. I know it can't make 0 sense, but we need to kind of move scale, because it's not financially viable on day one necessarily.
Sarah Gray, I couldn't agree with you more. Could we see if David Beckham would join the EV Café one week? I mean, could you cope with all that much gorgeousness? I mean, 6 of us that are just gorgeous. I'm not sure about that. I think you just go into meltdown.
I think Sam would put a block on it.
Fine. It's fine. I'll text him and ask him. It's all right.
David Beckham is indeed a Gloucestershire resident. I'm sure I could go round.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. We'd never see you again. Right, anyway, let's move on. Zenobē, a leader in electric vehicle fleet services and battery storage innovation, has secured a further 410 million in financing to speed up its support for the rollout of electric buses, with over 200 e-buses expected to be deployed throughout the UK and Ireland by 2026. The announcement, in addition to its existing 241 million financing platform established in 2022, marks over £1 billion of green debt funding raised by Zenobē since 2019. 2,000 new electric buses coming to the roads. That's got to be good news, Paul. I mean, I'm becoming increasingly frustrated by the disconnect between politics and transport, and they just don't seem to care, rarely mention it. The election campaign's underway, it rarely gets a mention. Commercial entities are the driving force behind the transition to electric public transport.
Yeah, and they really are. I'm not sure of the exact stat, but it's something like 50% or more of all buses that are going on the road today are electric, and that is, it's a powerful number. Zenobē have been really pioneers and partners, particularly in that bus space, really helping fleets electrify. And I think it's great that they've got some extra money, and I think, you know, we recognise this, don't we? That in industry we've got to kind of walk away from government at some point and stand on our own 2 feet, and not rely upon, you know, and let's face it, we can't rely upon government at this point in time to really support the transport sector. So we really do have to stand on our own 2 feet, and we've spoken to their CEO. Was it Stephen?
Stephen Mearsman, one of two.
Stephen Mearsman.
Steve
Thank
Mearsman.
you.
Yeah.
Steve Mearsman. And it was great to hear his vision, his passion, his focus, but just that gritty determination that this is going to work, and he's definitely making it work.
Sarah Gray has made a follow-up comment, which I'd like to read out very slowly for other social media platforms. David Beckham is not as good looking as the EV Cafe gang, but we will allow him on.
Thank you, Sarah.
So right. Sarah, love you, hug you, and squeeze you. Now then, Canadian researchers have unlocked game-changing alternatives for electric vehicle batteries, potentially reducing manufacturing costs by 20%. Groundbreaking studies from McGill University in Canada offer hope in the search. Bless you.
That was Edith, not me.
Cheaper and greener lithium-ion batteries used in electric vehicles. The researchers successfully engineered iron-based DRX cathodes by modifying the electron storage process, achieving some of the highest storage capacities ever recorded from iron-based cathode materials. The breakthrough could slash lithium-ion battery costs by 20%. Their findings unlock the potential to produce batteries using more sustainable and less costly metals known as disordered rock salt type, or DRX cathode materials. That's got to be a win. New technology for the win. It takes less of our precious resources from the earth. Sam, you must be buzzing.
Buzzing. Very clever. Yeah, look, it's great, isn't it? The technology is evolving all the time, and this is another indicator that things are moving in the right direction, and anything we can do to reduce the dependency on these materials and reduce costs is great. Yeah, the article says potentially, could, maybe, you know, all that kind of stuff in it. So obviously it isn't something that's going into our vehicles, you know, tomorrow. But it just demonstrates the advancement in technology, and further advances the fact that vehicles will continually will be able to charge faster, price will come down, and we'll be grazing like we do at a petrol station in very few short years as a result of all these different technology advancements, negating the need for on-street charging at the same time, incidentally. But there we are. It's all good advancement. So looking forward to how it changes and evolves over time.
There's Sam riding one of his many hobby horses. Paul, it's got to be a good thing. I mean, I'm not a battery chemist. I don't understand the detail, but I do know the cathodes are the bits at the ends of the cells, and they're the bit that kind of conducts all that energy in and out of the cells. It's really important that we take less resources from the earth, because that's one of the criticisms, and it's not. It's not as bad as people make out. There's a very, very small amount of precious resources that are used for vehicle batteries. These things, mobile phones, computers, they use a huge amount. But cars, it seems we're easy, an easy target. Vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, the batteries are not small, let's be honest. I mean, we you know, in the trucks we've got up to 600 kilowatt hours, and it will probably go up from there, possibly. I don't know. It depends on the efficiency, of course, and what we actually need. But you know, we need our Ewan McTurk, really, to be able to properly comment on this. But what's good is that there is research into making this work. And I was talking with somebody yesterday about the reality that as diesel and petrol and oil first came on in the early 1900s. Oh, bless you.
You did. Go away.
Allergic to the EV Cafe news.
The oil was competing with electric at the same time, and we've seen the development in the oil and gas world, and we've seen all of the technology that's come out from that. Electric had its infancy then and is still somewhat in its infancy now. In just a few years, you know, what are we going to see in terms of development? Phenomenal development, which we're seeing already across the world. And this is just another example of good people going to work on making things more efficient.
Now, Sarah, Is Edith suffering from hay fever?
Yes, she is. I'm so sorry. But the good thing is it's important to expose the youth to these wonderful discussions. What I wanted to say, though, is other EV Cafe podcasts are brilliant and other podcasts are available. In episode 18 of Liz Allen's series, which is called Full Circle, she asked you and On specifically to talk about this sort of thing, and they ended up having to do a second episode because they just couldn't get through all the ins and outs, and commercial viability is covered on that. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. Achoo!
Bless you. And Michael Barton makes a very, very strong point when he says that we need to appreciate and remember the fact that most of the battery's raw material is recyclable. And that's absolutely critical that we remember that. So this is not just dig it out the ground, use it once, throw it away. Oh, that'll be fossil fuel then. Thank you. Anyway, right. Low emission sightseeing bus firm Toot Bus, I love that name. Is there something wrong with me? There's lots wrong with me. Has secured approval for plans to install roof-mounted solar panels on its Wandsworth depot, collaborating with electric fleet solutions provider VEV on the scheme. The project will power the existing electric fleet with 100% end-to-end renewable power, providing 65,000 kilowatt hours of electricity annually, or approximately 60,000 kilometers of travel per year once the full fleet has been converted to electric power. The implementation of solar panels is expected to take place this summer, with additional infrastructure projects in the pipeline to support Toot Bus's plans to operate London's first fully electric sightseeing bus by 2029. Now, this is just part of this wonderful ecosystem that we're opening our eyes to. And Sam, you're one of the leaders in this area, in that, you know, we've got the sun to wheel concept, so renewable energy generated, stored, used. I mean, this is the way that all electric vehicles and electric ecosystems need to work.
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, I hope that this isn't used in the very short near future, really, because there's an awful lot of rooftop availability across the entire country that could be utilised for this purpose. So hopefully this becomes a non-event, and more people, you know, yes, there's a capital investment in doing this in this sort of infrastructure build out, but the opportunity and the long-term gain of doing so is tremendous. So what we really need to see is all roofs of all warehouses across the country being solarized as quickly as humanly possible, because it's a huge amount of area, and it's putting the energy directly where it needs to be as well, critically. So more of this is needed for sure. And whether we need more government incentives to do so. You know, GridServe will build huge solar farms in large parts of rural areas, but this is the other way in which it can be really well established, not just on domestic roofs, but on commercial ones as well. So hopefully this is a really good news story that will catalyze more people doing the same thing.
Yeah, now I have a confession. I took a flight yesterday. Okay, haters, hit me. But I left from Edinburgh Airport, and the apron of Edinburgh Airport's runway is now filled with solar. I arrived into Birmingham. The apron of Birmingham Airport is absolutely rammed with solar. I don't know about you, but I've become a real solar spotter. And solar panels, PV, is really, really fabulous to see rolling out across our countryside and across all of those industrial areas that we need this to work for. Paul, are you seeing it more and more as you go round small businesses?
First of all, I see it, you know, everywhere, in fields and in small businesses. I worked for Vanarama years ago, who had solar and had solar for a number of years already, and that was great. What I saw this last, or a couple of weeks ago, actually, was Salisbury. In Salisbury was Wiltshire County Council's Five Rivers Leisure Centre. Very close to a good friend of ours, James Rooney from Network Rail, which I discovered. And I put a video together so people do go and look at it, from 3TI. So 3TI have deployed a solar array of, you know, huge importance in terms of the materials that it was used, but and also solar on the roofs of the and you can see all of that from I put a drone up and you can see it all, and they've also got their PPO3 there, all relying on a lot of solar. And what that's going to do is save that leisure centre £50,000 a year. It is monster money to save from day one, because what the industry is doing is deploying the solar and then selling the energy back via power purchase agreements. So you're not even paying for the energy or for the solar that's going on the roofs and the car parks of these operations, these businesses. So it's a fantastic opportunity, 1, to save money, 2, to save the planet, and 3, to drive on sunshine, which is a registered trademark of 3TI.
Quite
And
right,
it's
Paul.
Nice for
Sam,
Sam to chat along. I'll mute
he's
him.
just doing his own thing. Right. Thank you, everybody, today. I know we've had 1 or 2 challenges. Sarah, thank you for all the comments you've put in the comment box. Really appreciate that. And to Edith, our guest presenter of the day, thank you so much. If you've got any clean transport, PR, or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from all of them and Edith. Achoo!
Achoo!
This has been an EV Cafe production brought to you this week in partnership with Zaptec, the chargers where innovation meets design. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just fun. Well played, Sam. The EV
Bless you,
Cafe
Sam.
is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europe Car, Plug Me In, Paythrough, Iveco, Zaptec, Drax, Spiri, Stuart Science, Hydrock, Allstar, Schneider Electric, and Dynamon. We're still the EV Cafe. We're still supporting the transition to clean transport. We love you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, wherever it takes you. Until next Friday, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, no.